Everyone, welcome back to Conway's Corner. Today we are going to be going over the last few days worth of forum posts. I was going to make these separate videos. I figured I would just make this all one longer video. It's still going to be a short one, hopefully. I just wanted to go over all of this. We're going to go over the Healing Hands stuff first. Overall, there's only a couple nodes really of note in here that they have shown us. The biggest one for me is Raya's Chariot. This is going to be great in some builds over Lunge as a specialization, as we are now getting Healing Hands being a dash that does not need a target to move to. This is really nice for bossing, getting out of large packs. If you dive into a pack and you don't have the clear, you need to get out. This will give us a way to get out, especially with that immune while moving, and we cast Healing Hands at the end of the dash. This is going to be really nice in some builds over Lunge, although I'm unsure if there's going to be enough else in the tree to make this really worth it. For everything else, I don't see it really slotting into anything that's currently out there. Although this right here, Skyfall, turning us into a Diamond Nagasa. Over here, giving us an Orbital Laser Beam that's going to do damage over time, which means that this will not be able to crit, and also heal ourselves and any allies in there. I think that's really interesting. I could definitely see a new build centered on this. The other things they showed us were like Divine Bolt synergy and being able to turn it into a melee attack. Like I said, I could see this getting the most use in Judgment Paladin, where it would be replacing Lunge in the build for Raya's Chariot. Other than that, I don't know. I'll probably try and make an Orbital Laser build because that just seems funny, but other than that, nothing really tickled my fancy. However, Gathering Storm here will go over Tempest Strike. It's going to cycle through 3 different attacks. Each one is going to give us either like a Lightning Nova, a little mini tornado, or a cold projectile that can pierce enemies. There are nodes to turn it into totem support. This is going to be great for like Totem Shaman. It's giving you 3 new totems. Notably, you can only have 1 of each. We have nodes in here to give us a chance on hit to trigger all 3 of the Tempests and not just the one that corresponds with the step of the attack that we are currently on. We get a small percentage chance to use Tempest Strike while we are transformed. Kind of interesting for Swarmblade. Although with that, we'd probably be replacing like Summon Spriggan. And I think that we have a better target in the new skill, Gathering Storm. Gathering Storm is a spammable melee attack. It is taking the place of Ice Thorns. The nodes in here, there's a couple that are really, really interesting. Notably, changing the lightning damage into cold damage. This is going to replace Shock with Frostbite. And it will give us freeze rate. This is really, really nice as a pickup. It'll also go great with like the cold Swarmblade. Every time we hit, we get the storm around us, and then there's going to be a delay, and then Lightning Bolt is going to come down. The other notable thing is that any use of the word like lightning in the Primalist skills, in the sense of like, oh, this casts lightning, is now being replaced with Stormbolt, and it will use the Gathering Storm tree, which is really massive. That is going to help out Fury Leap, Maelstrom, Tornado, Werebear, and Summon Wolves. The Storm Totem and Earthquake cast Lightning Storm and not Lightning. So unless Lightning Storm casts lightning and that is then using this tree, Gathering Storm will not affect Earthquake or Storm Totem. There's nodes in here. If we have a staff equipped, it's just Call Lightning from like Diablo and other ARPGs. It's just Call Lightning. If we're dual wielding, every time we expend 1 stack, we get 2 lightning bolts as opposed to 1. There is a node here called Whirlwind Tactics that when we use a companion skill, it will burn anywhere between 1 and 4 of our storm stacks over the next 0.3 seconds. And the bolts that are created this way are going to do bonus damage. Really, really cool. Like I said, I can see this. I see 2 places where this is going to go great. We'll look at the Swarm Blade first. So we put Ice Thorns here. Normally, a lot of builds are going to run Summon Spriggan. I can see replacing Spriggan if we want to go for a more offensive build, going for that the chance while we're transformed to build these stacks up. That is going to go great for like the Ice Bug, especially because when we're playing like Tornado, we generally go and get Charged Storm. So Charged Storm is getting a massive buff here through Gathering Storm, as is Maelstrom through Power of the Storm. So 2 things that are already being done on most Swarmblade builds are going to get massive synergy boosts with this new skill. The other place I see this being used is in any build that's doing squirrels. And let me explain that. So this is actually a shaman build. You can see we've got Summon Storm Totem. We've got Fury Leap for the lightning. Also Pack Leader so that our wolves will come with us. Over in the wolves, we can pick up Stormborn and Stormcaller's Reprisal to make it so that any time any of our squirrels get hit, we have a 60% chance to respond with the lightning, which I would do a cold conversion on this build as well. Get the freeze rate going. We'll have 10 squirrels. We won't have 12 because we are playing a shaman, not a beastmaster. So 5 is our companion cap. We get double that in squirrels, so 10 squirrels. You'll note we have 28 points in the skill. That is because we are dual wielding Apogee of Frozen Light, which will give us +3 to cold and necrotic minion skills. We convert the wolves into cold, and now we get +6 to them. We went all in on like stacking attunement for this, which is why we pick up Shaman's Bond. Really, I could see doing enough points here just to get us over to Pack Hunters, and then going and trying to pick up the bleed synergy. And then if we have some extra points, then going and grabbing the Lightning Strike Retaliation off of this. I would prioritize this node over this node. It just means that we're going to get less lightning. Summon Storm Totem, build Storm Totem how you like. We'll run Tempest Strike, and we will grab the Totem node to give us more totems. So we can jump in, have our lightning go off, pop the squirrel ability, have the lightning bolts go off. We drop our Storm Totem, our 3 Tempest Totems, and then we just spam Gathering Storm while we wait for things to come off of cooldown or our totems to go down to build up our stacks. So this came out earlier today as of recording. This is a look at some of the new items we have coming up. So we're going to go over these really quickly. We got 2 new boot bases being shown here. This one, we've got increased movement speed, reduced damage from critical strikes. And these other boots, we've got less armor, movement speed, increased effect of haste on you. This is actually really nice. I mean, I don't really value the less bonus damage taken from critical strikes, as in most of my builds, I'm at 100% crit avoid, so I'm not worried about the crits. New glove bases here. We've got increased cooldown recovery speed, and this one has got us mana regen, which is nice. Belts, actually, this is actually really, really nice. I forget which belt it is. Oh, it's the last one. Chain belt giving us ward decay threshold. This is super nice. Ward decay threshold is hard to come by, and in any build that is ward stacking and generating you kind of want as much ward decay threshold as you can comfortably fit in. And I could definitely see, if we're not using like the Isidora's belt, what is that? Isidora's Tomb Binding, I believe is the name of the belt, for just a ton of armor, I could definitely see instead putting chain belts on. Our other two belts, though, the Praetorian belt is just a bunch of armor. Its range is 125 to 250, which is a lot for a belt. And our last one, the Divine Girdle, is movement speed. So super cool, super nice. We've got 3 new helmets shown here, and they are they are class specific. So we've got the Mage helmet, which is going to give us elemental damage leech as health. That's fine, really. 130 armor is not bad. The leech is anywhere between 1 and 3%. I don't know. Like, the helmet looks cool, but Blood Visage, increased damage over time and increased bleed duration. This is really nice. If the patch notes that don't nerf the hell out of bleed again, this will be a really, really nice pickup. Last but not least is the Necropolis Helm for the Acolyte, which is going to give us ward decay threshold and ward gain on kill. Solid implicits on the helmet. Really, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We've got more class-specific body armors that they're showing us here. We've got one for Sentinel, Primalist, and Acolyte. The Sentinel body armor here is going to give us Stun Avoid, increased echo damage when a skill is echoed, so nice pickup for the Void Knights there. Beast Mail for the Primalist, which I'm actually pretty excited for Beast Mail, as it gives us increased movement speed and flat health regen. This is really nice if we are running a Shattered Lance set, since we get increased damage for uncapped health regen. I believe it's health regen. It's either health regen or healing effectiveness. If it's healing effectiveness, then I'm less excited for this. If it is health regen, this is great. This is just going to help pump the damage on Shattered Lance. Last but not least, Coven Robes here for the Acolyte. We've got increased cast speed, increased mana regen, and armor. Not bad. I mean, increased cast speed is always just a nice like trinket text, and the mana regen is fine. Like, it's nothing massive, right? I'm not expecting bases to like blow my mind. However, we are getting some new affixes here. We're seeing minion spell damage and bow damage, which is cool. We're getting covering 10 of the 12 new weapon affixes, which is interesting. From the way this reads, 10 of the 12 new weapon affixes that are getting added are for minions, which is interesting. They said here that the weapon affixes for minions are going to be flat damage as opposed to increased damage. We're getting minion melee, minion spell, and minion bow damage. Oh, sorry. Minion melee and minion spell and minion bow, and minion melee and minion bow. So these are going to be hybrid affixes. Interesting. So there's 3 of them. We're also getting a new suffix that is going to be hybrid physical penetration. This affix is available for each of the 7 damage types, though are rare and can only be found on endgame items. Interesting. I mean, it's nice to get, elemental penetrate, or damage penetration for minions on your gear. That's nice. I don't know. I'm not a massive minions player. I mean, I play squirrels, but I'm not a major Necro player. I've taken Necro into Empowered and into Low Corruption, and it just doesn't do it for me. But for the minion players, they are stoked about this. Class-specific affixes, we'll get into these really quick. We are getting the Sickening prefix for idols. It looks like it's only going to be adorned if they show it. On adorned, I'm going to assume that it is only for adorned idols. But percentage increased damage over time while you have an ailment overload. If you are playing and building with ailment overload in the build, this is probably going to be a really nice pickup. It is taking up idol slots as well, as opposed to an affix slot on your gear. We've got Spirit Frequency with Chthonic Fissure. This is going to be really, really nice. I'm going to be hunting for this when I play my Warlock build, as I am centered around Chthonic Fissure. So this has me really excited. Chance to fire 3 additional projectiles when you directly cast Chaos Bolt. That's nice. We've got a plus level of Profane Veil, percentage increased damage over time. Super nice. I assume that we're also going to have plus ranks for all of the new Warlock skills and the Falconer skills. Looking over the Falconer, we've got a lot of stuff that care about caltrops here, flat damage and increased area and armor shred with the caltrops. That would be the spiked and the scattering affixes. We've got the winged prefix, chance to deal double damage with falcon strikes. Cool. Not really exciting to me at all, but you know, we'll take it. On helmet, percentage increased damage and area with dive bomb. So if we're playing a dive bomb build, obviously this is a really nice pickup. It is a helmet affix, so if we're wanting to run a unique helmet, this is gonna not be great. But and then body armor specific, we've got plus X to the level of explosive trap and increased throwing damage. That is actually really nice, as I foresee a lot of the Falconer specific explosive trap builds are going to be having a lot of throwing damage in them. I know mine is heavy on throwing damage, so this is going to be a really nice affix to hunt for on that. Primalist, we're getting new Gathering Storm affixes, so increased frequency of expending our Storm Strike stacks, plus rank to Gathering Storm, percentage increased area for area skills on body armor, and then helmet, chance to gain a storm stack when you use Gathering Storm and hit an enemy, so chance to just get double stacks. That's nice. Uniques, one of these uniques, it makes me very, very happy, and I will explain in a moment. But we've got a shield that is really meant for Forge Guards, and I don't know, man. It's a shield throw unique. So we're getting plus 3 ranks to shield throw, chance to retaliate with shield throw on block with a half-second cooldown. If that half-second cooldown wasn't there, I think I'd be more excited to play this as stacking blocks and just like machine gunning out my shield. That sounds incredible. Damage reflected to attackers, and then plus 1 throwing damage for shield throw per 10 damage reflected to attackers. So stacking damage reflection with this shield, like stacking damage reflection and block chance, and then just running through and having our shield get thrown constantly. I think if that half-second cooldown wasn't there, like I said, I would be way more excited about this, as this would be a really fun, like, Thorns-esque build for the Sentinels, which I feel is missing. We don't really have a Thorns-type build in the game. Moving on, we get a new Weaver's Will item. I was honestly hoping, and I still am hoping, that we're getting a bunch of Weaver's Wills items coming. as I find Weaver's Will just super fun to play with. So this is going to, first off, stats on this item are doubled for 1 second after using a potion. Let's look at the stats on the potion, or on the belt. We have got +1 potion slot per equipped Weaver item. Now this is really, really cool. I really like this. I have to go and, I believe now we've got belt, 2 ring slots, gloves, boots, shield, class relic. That's 7. So we could get a max of so we could have a max of 10 potions, and then using our potions to double the stats of the belt. The stats on the belt, though, are going to be plus armor. This is showing us 63. And then it's got 51% armor, 33% of mana spent gained as ward, and more damage to stunned enemies. The mana spent gained as ward is really nice. That's a nice little pickup there. The more damage to stunned enemies is nice. Honestly, this might slot in really well on like Devotion Hammerden. I think that this could be really nice, especially if you're running, I believe, I think it's Dreadful did the low life ladle devotion build, and we're all like, that build was already running 2 of the fonts of the erase, the rings. So this might fit in there, but I really like that we have a set that's not a set, right? Like this is technically this is kind of like a set bonus here, this +1 potion slot per equipped Weaver item, but we're not really building with it for that in mind. But it's a nice little bonus. This is what I'm excited for right here, okay? Look, I used to play a lot of Super Smash Bros. I used to play a lot of Melee back in the day, okay? And nothing makes me happier than being able to Falcon Punch people in my ARPG. I love unarmed builds. I'm honestly hoping the next class that gets released is some sort of like monk or like the assassin in D2, although Falconer is already giving me kind of assassin from D2 vibes. So Falcon Fists. Let's look at these bad boys. All right, already our implicits aren't bad. Armor, endurance. The endurance is nice. I'm sure if I went and looked at all the bases, I would find something I would prefer. But we got plus Cinder Strike melee damage per level of falconry while unarmed. Percent increased Cinder Strike area per level of falconry while unarmed. So having these plus the falcon out is going to give us more flat damage and larger AoE. While unarmed, your falcon's hits grant Cinder Strike +4 melee damage and 1% increased area for 6 seconds. This has got incredibly a total of +7 ranks across 2 skills that we want anyways because of this, right? Increased melee attack speed, and then increased melee fire damage for you and your minions. Now, what makes me so excited about this is, much like Judgment, the unique, or Hand of Judgment, the unique Judgment gloves, unarmed only cares if you have a weapon equipped, which means that you can have a catalyst or a shield in your offhand and you still count as unarmed. Now, Judgment Paladin has a shield that works perfectly with that, in the sense of oh god, what's the name of that shield? Something of Raya, I believe. I don't know. It's a shield that gives +1 rank to Judgment, among other things. It's kind of the best in slot shield for Judgment Paladin. Being able to have a shield in the offhand or a catalyst, which there is a catalyst that I'm excited for the build that I posted the other day for my Falconer League start that we're going to get into just after this. Although if I pick these up, I might swap into this. I also might try and play my current Falconer build that I have cooked up with Cinder Strike instead of Puncture. This is just, it's so cool. It's perfect. I mean, we can see it in action here. We punch quick. You know, we've got the birds supporting us. Every time the bird deals, like, hits an enemy, it's increasing our melee damage and our area for Cinder Strike. That's massive. We've got Spine of Malatros. This is the first of 2 uniques that they have shown us that are actually going to change the visuals of skills. So let's go ahead and look at this. Once again, this gives us an insane +7 to skills, except massively, this is +3 to fire skills, +2 to damage over time skills, and +2 to acolyte skills. I believe we can turn Chthonic Fissure into... Actually, it is a fire skill at base. It is a fire skill. What am I saying? It's fire and necrotic. Damage over time skills, I'm unsure if Chthonic Fissure is also counted as a damage over time skill. I'd have to go back and look, but it is an acolyte skill. So that's at minimum +5 to Chthonic Fissure, potentially +7. And we could see here, Chthonic Fissures cast Flame Whip instead of releasing spirits. The skill tree applies to Flame Whip from all sources, and then plus critical strike multiplier with Flame Whip per 10% uncapped necrotic resistance. We talked about Chthonic Fissure having a node that increased its damage based off of our uncapped necrotic resistance, and this is now also increasing our critical strike multiplier. And then it gives us plus flat spell damage on top of it too, as if that wasn't enough, right? And we can see this in action here. I mean, this is really cool. I'm excited for this. The uniques they've shown us, the last ones they sent us here, are just really incredible. And this is the one that I will be hunting for on release. Vial of Volatile Ice. Acid Flask turns into a cold. Poison chance gets converted into frostbite chance. We get percentage chance to apply frostbite on cold hit, increased area for cold area skills, increased cold damage, and freeze rate multiplier. I plan on playing Acid Flask already and converting it into like the fire bombs, but now they're going to be cold bombs instead. I don't know, because this gets rid of the poison chance. And I know we changed out the poison for ignite chance, so I don't know if this is still going to apply. But if it applies both ignite and frostbite, even better, right? This is super cool. It also is changing the VFX, so now you can see we're dropping these little cold clouds. Super cool. I'm so excited to see what happens next. I know tomorrow we are getting the patch notes, which I will have a video out, and potentially some builds based on the patch notes and any adjustments that I need to make to builds that I plan on playing or I have already shown. I will also have adjustments to my tier list that I put out a few days ago. Thank you for, last I checked, like 5.6k views. Holy shit. I was not expecting that. I was expecting like literally 2 views, and those being my dad and my wife. I really appreciate the support. Appreciate to those that are commenting and watching my videos. I will see you tomorrow in the next one. I'm going to wake up nice and early. I'll get the patch notes looked over, filmed. I might be like live streaming my reaction to the patch notes. Who knows? But I will catch you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.